Hello, everyone. This is Luis Concepcion coming to you from Strategic Profit Line Trading with the plan of the week for week number 46. Please understand that all this content that I'll be giving you today is for educational purposes and I'm not providing any financial advice. Understand that this is not tailored for any one individual and everyone must understand their investing time horizon. Past performance does not guarantee future results or success, and all investments involve risks, including loss of principal. As always, here's our agenda. I'm going to be covering the news, provide a quick market overview. This week we have 597 companies providing earnings. As you can see, earnings season is dwindling down. And I'll cover the FANG stocks and the Magnificent Seven. For last week's results, provided 21 zones on the stocks. We went 4 for 5, and options we went 4 for 1, and there was 10 zones that were no entry. I'm going to cover the stocks. The reason I'm reporting this as 4 and 5 is because I had two individuals that the trade didn't work out, but I'll go into detail in the charts so that I can explain why that number actually should have been higher and it should have been 7 and 2. As you can see, the following is the earnings we have for the week. Once again, we have a lot of earnings. I will not be going over all these. I'll provide 2 to 3 zones per day as usual. Once again, this is a snapshot for those of you who haven't been following over the last couple of weeks. I'll leave this up for a couple of seconds and moving to our current week, week 45 of last week. This is where the page starts. On the bottom, we have week 45 depicted on this screenshot. And here's the remainder of week 45 for stocks. As you can see, to date, we are 27 and 12. Moving on to options. Here's where week 45 is depicted, and as you can see, we're currently 25 and 3. Moving on to our news, as you can see on Monday, it's going to be a quiet day. For those of you who are trading the British pound for Forex, look at we have British pound being affected after hours. Moving on to Tuesday, we got a Corp CPI report before the market opens. On Wednesday, we got the PPI report prior to the market opens. And on Thursday, we got unemployment claims. Then on Friday, no news to report. And that's going to do it for news for us this week. So before I go into this week's analysis, because I got a couple of emails regarding, I wanted to cover two charts. So this is the Roblox zone that I provided. And as you can see, we had an overshoot of 18 cents. So the recommendation to that I have is either give yourself a 10-cent buffer or this is at the market open or allow 5 minutes to pass. And although I'm marking this as a losing trade, this trade actually did work out for those of you who have taken my course and understand how to play that. And again, this is the 6:30 open, and sometimes we have an overshoot. So sometimes give the market 5 minutes to 10 minutes to see where the market ends up going before you place your trades. And the same thing happened on Yeti. As you can see, we had an overshoot and then it took off. You could have prevented this being a losing trade by giving the market 5 minutes to open and adjust to all the volume that is coming into the market on the open. All right, now with that being said, let's move on to this week. So starting with the SPX, the S&P 500. As you can see, our level is still holding from 2 weeks ago now. And we've done nothing but take off to the top, and that demand zone still is going to be 41.42 by 40.97. And on the supply side, we're coming into that area that I provided last week. It's going to be 44.40 to 44.66 on the supply side. Moving on to the Dow. As you can see, the levels have not changed as well on the Dow Jones, the same ones I provided last week. So on the demand side, you got 325.48 to 322.66. And on the supply side, we got 344.35 to 347.79. Moving on to the NASDAQ. On the NASDAQ, this is our zone. We got 13,518 to 13,227. And for this week, this is not depicted, but here we go. On the supply side, we got 16,225 to 16,606. And lastly, the Russell, the RUT, or the IWM, whichever chart you're following. As you can see, the RUT's been the weakest out of all the indices, and our zones remain the same. We got 1647 to 1527 on the demand side and 1822.98 to 1842.49. Moving on to earnings for this week. First company I got covered for you for Monday morning is going to be TSN, also known as Tyson Foods, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Tyson Foods. As you can see, we're currently in this demand zone that's holding. You got 47.88 to 42.57 on the demand side, and on the supply side, you got 59.40 to 61.34. Moving on to Tuesday, Home Depot. So for Home Depot, on the demand side, you got 270.56 to 261.80, and on the supply side, you got 343.83 to 358.84. For SE, I'm not sure what this company is or does, however, it doesn't matter. These are the zones for you on Tuesday on earnings. You got 3170 by 2853 on the demand side and 5565 to 5888. Moving on to Wednesday, we got Target. So for Target, on the demand side, I got 89.46 to 78.21, and on the supply side, I got 120.78 to 127.82. Next company on Wednesday, Advanced Auto Parts. So on the demand side, I got 46.67 by 42.19, and on the supply side, 63.04 to 65 even. Next company I'm going to cover is Cisco. So on the supply side, I got 55.48 by 58.23, and on the demand side, I got 44.97 by 43.42. Moving on to Thursday, Alibaba. So Alibaba, we got 73.85 to 69.82 on the demand side, and on the supply side, I got 108.96 to 113.76. Next company I'm going to cover is Walmart. So Walmart has no supply. It's at all-time highs. So we have no supply on Walmart, and then the demand zone I have for you is 151.19 to 148.48. And the last company I'm going to cover for you when it comes to earnings this week is going to be Nice. So on the demand side, I got 153.84 to 140. Understand that this is the zone that's currently holding this. If we have an overshoot, uh, being that this is the conservative zone on the demand side. I'm sorry, aggressive zone on the demand side and conservative zone is going to be 128.93 to 110.75. On the supply side, you got 213.77 by 219.30. And that's going to do it for us with earnings. So the next thing I'm going to do is cover the FANG stock. So let's go with Meta. And on Meta, as you can see, our zones still haven't changed, the same ones I've been reporting. So on the supply side, you got 321.74 to 345.08. Understand that this zone has worked once, twice, and we're coming deeper into this zone right now. And on the demand side, we got 275.79 to 268.64. Apple is next. So Apple finally broke our zone. The zone had previously worked for us, and I said that the next stop on Apple was going to be 190.53 to 192.50. So with all the major indices having a little bit more room to the upside, anticipate a turn from here to fill the gaps that we have down below. And that's 190.53 to 192.50 on Apple on the supply side. And then on the demand side, this is our zone that previously worked and still holding 167.09 to 159.73. Next company I'm going to cover is Netflix out of the Fang. As you can see, this is the area I provided last week and it's currently still holding. We haven't breached this and we got the 436.48 to 453.66. In the event that this area does not work this week or doesn't hold for whatever reason, we don't have a lot of news, but this is going to be your aggressive zone and this will be your conservative zone. You got 470.20 to 484.36. Last one out of the Fang stocks is Google. And our zone is still holding on zones are still holding on Google. This is a trade we took. We got the 122.83 to 118.17 on the demand side, and on the supply side, we got 141.66 to 145.15. That's gonna do it for our Fang stocks. Now moving on to the Magnificent Seven, even though we've covered most of them. Let's go to Nvidia. This is the zone that held for us this week. As you can see, we had a pullback, about a $20, $10 to $15 pullback here last week. This zone is still holding. Again, now this, because this already worked, this is aggressive. And now next thing we got is going back to all-time highs. For those of you who want to play NVIDIA. And our demand is going to remain the same at 392.89 to 381.58. Next company I'm going to cover is Microsoft. As you can see, our zone failed from last week that I provided. It's one of our losses. There is no supply on Microsoft. It's made all-time highs. So there is no supply in Microsoft. You have to wait for the charts to give us a clue that it's going to turn. But once again, there's no supply in Microsoft, and the next demand zone I have for you is back down at 299.37 to 292.42. And the last one I'm going to cover out of the Magnificent Seven is Tesla. And Tesla's been stagnant for a while, so it's due for a move, and those zones have not changed either. We got the 193.47 that worked for us to 177.36. And on the supply side, you got 249.87 to 257.02. And that's going to do it for us for the charts this week. So as always, this is our contact information. Feel free to email me or go to our website for upcoming courses. Follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn for me to put trade posts throughout the week. If you want me to cover anything or have any questions, once again, feel free to email me. And don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button on the YouTube channel. Till next week, till next time, have a plan. Happy trading.